And I'm like, it's very impactful. It's very impactful because it may be little things, but it makes a big difference in people's lives.
All right, guys, we are back here on the Hardwood Rod podcast, and today I am joined by Jorge Ancheytta, and he's a trainer, author, and owner of NRG Fitness. So, Jorge, welcome to the podcast, and let's get to know you a little bit, because all I know is that you're an author, hell of an author, trainer, owner of NRG. But who else? What are you, George? Like, are you something else?
I am a lot of things. Well, first of all, before we get started, thank you very much for having me here. It is an honor. I've listened to some of your previous materials, and I like what you're doing. I really do enjoy listening to you, and I really think you have something very good going on. So just keep it going, man. Keep it going.
Appreciate it. So, George, before you got started with NRG and your fitness journey, how did you become and how did you find I guess what you call it, your calling, right? Like as far as helping others in their fitness journey.
I don't know if if my calling has found me yet.
Okay.
Okay, I'm still trying to navigate through life as we go. But one thing that I have always had going for me, I have always been very active. Playing sports, basketball, even soccer. That I was never good at soccer, but my brother always wanted me to play with him. But I was always active. And it wasn't until maybe about 8 years ago when I met this guy who had his own gym. And he was the one who introduced me to this industry, and I fell in love with it. I worked for him for about 2 years, and then it was time for me to move on and do my own thing.
Okay. How old were you as far as, were you young or?
Well, I'll be 44 in June.
Okay.
And this started like about 8 years ago, so
okay,
late 30s.
Okay, so I would say, because I'm 33, and I would say, just like you, I don't think I found exactly what I'm set to do, right? That's why I'm still navigating. But I have a better idea 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was lost. 10 years ago, I was still trying to figure out his business major was for me, and I figured out that, I hate business and I'm more of a creative person, right? But I'm still finding like my early 30s, I'm still trying to see exactly, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's normal, right?
Absolutely. That is acceptable.
Yeah.
That is acceptable.
So I think during that time, you've kind of like, you're trying to see exactly what, not what you want to do, but who is Jorge,
Well, I mean, life has a funny way of changing your path sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel like you are meant to do something, and you may not be as good at it as you may think. So you have to find a way to just keep pushing through. Now, in my path, I have been blessed with a lot of different individuals who have affected me in a positive way. I have always done sales. Sales has been always the way I have made a living. But I have always sold a product. This is the first time that I find myself selling a service, and I find it a lot more gratifying. I find it a lot more fulfilling.
Yeah.
Because I'm changing people's lives.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me también, where it's now I'm at a point where I'm like, how can I make a difference, or what I'm doing? How is it changing anybody, even if it's one person? And that's something where I'm identifying that more.
Right. And the funny thing about this industry is you have your standard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you go here to Energy and we show you how to do a push-up. It's going to be the exact same push-up as they're going to show you someplace else.
Yeah.
And you have your standard, and you should follow your standards to keep safe from injuries and to get the best out of every single move. But once you dig deeper, you will find that there's 50 different variations of how to do a push-up.
Yeah.
And not one size fits all, because you may like one particular set of push-ups and the person behind you may like it a completely different way. And you cannot teach the same way to everyone because everyone has limitations. And my job as a trainer is to find out what those limitations are and help that person, help that individual, help that client not only understand their limitations, but find a way to go around them so that they can elevate the quality of their lives.
No, yeah. And, we just got down doing a workout. We just got, finished. And, I had a little kink on my neck, and right away, you're already trying to identify the issue, but you're more calculated, and let's talk about that, right? So when, at NRG, what would you say to someone that's just starting, right? Or just trying to, hey, I want to join NRG. What's something that you'll tell them that's gonna maybe be like, okay, this is a different gym?
Well, like I said, everyone's got limitations.
Yeah.
And my job is trying to identify those limitations and make people understand what they are. Because there's a big difference between exercising and training. Exercising, you want to go 100 miles an hour. You want to get to the number assigned. Say, for example, your trainer, your coach is telling you, we're going to go ahead and do 100 of these. And in people's head, in people's mentality is, I need to get to those 100 reps as fast as possible. And yes, sometimes that is the goal.
Yeah.
Let's see who gets to 100 first, right? But a lot of the times is, yes, we want you to get to 100, but we want you to treat each rep independently as its own workout until you get to 100. And if you don't get to 100, that's fine. That's okay. Not everyone is going to get to those 100 because of the challenges behind it, because of the limitations behind it. So a lot of the times is, it's I have to take a step back and say, okay, so why is this person not reaching those 100 reps? Or how can I make those 100 reps a little bit more challenge for that one person who's going 100 miles an hour? But in your case, where you came in this morning with a little bit of pain, and pain is never fun.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to live through pain. And pain is an indication that there is something wrong. That is a signal that your body's sending you to take a step back and evaluate something that is causing it, right? And we need to find out what the cause is before we can push through it, because you should never work out through pain. That is never a good idea. You're going to maybe have a small problem and turn it into a bigger problem and create bigger setbacks. So we need to take a step back and say, hey, okay, what is the cause of this pain?
Yeah.
Is it the way you're sleeping? Is it the way you're living? Is it the way you're doing your activities? Sometimes work, where you're hunchback in front of a computer typing away for 8 to 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then you're like, ooh, my back hurts, and you don't understand why. Well, it's your positioning. It's the way you're arching your back and the way you're standing up, and you're not stretching enough to overcompensate that pressure that your back is going through for a very long period of time.
Yeah, yeah, and that's obviously for me, I'm behind the computer maybe up to 8 hours, but not just that, right? But you have the mouse, right?
Right.
So it takes a toll, right? So you
absolutely. Yeah. So rule of thumb, if you're sitting behind a desk or if you're driving on the road for a very extended period of time, every 20 minutes, take 20 seconds to stretch.
Yeah.
Every 20 minutes, 20 seconds to stretch. And what you want to do is you want to decompress. So if you're hunching, you don't want to stretch doing the same position. You want to stretch the opposite. And you have to keep in mind that our spine is going to move forward, it's going to move back, it's going to move to the sides. But one important move that our spine is able to do, and we sometimes neglect it, is the twisting of it. So make sure that you're twisting when you're when you're doing any type of stretching.
Yeah, and that's sometimes we take warming up, stretching for granted, right? We kind of just do it real quick and not focus on that. That's probably more important than actual workout, right? Because you might get injured, And like in my case, I got probably maybe because I didn't stretch or whatnot. But
Right.
I think now you're identifying that, okay, what's the cause of the problem, why, and how can we fix it?
Right. Okay. Well, in your case, you came in with a problem, and we tried to alleviate some of that problem by stretching that area out. But this is just like going to school, Rodrigo.
Yeah.
You come here, you learn your lesson, and you have to take that information and practice it at home. If you are just depending on a trainer to come and stretch you
Yeah.
on a very short period of time, because I get to see you twice a week, right? If you're gonna rely on me to show you how to do things and only come in and do the stretching and the warming up twice a week, then you're gonna be limiting your mobility a
Yeah.
lot. You should take, even if it's one or two new things that you pick up on a daily basis when you're here, go home and practice that. Go home and repeat it over and over and over and
Yep.
over until that problem is fixed.
No, yeah, that's something where, when you're done or you're doing your workout, if you have a trainer or whatnot, you gotta apply that,
Absolutely.
at home or wherever,
Yeah.
because it's just practice, repetition.
Yeah.
And all those moves, like the ones we were doing, like you said, they're very mechanical, right? So
Yes.
if you don't do it often, you're never gonna nail it every time you're doing it.
Well,
But
that's funny you should say that, because that is one of the emphasis that we have here at our gym. We don't really care how much weight you can lift.
yeah,
A lot of places, their focal point is, let me see if you can put 300 pounds on top of your head. And it's very impressive if someone can achieve that. The problem is, once they do, they can't walk for 2-3 days because
Yeah.
they are putting too much pressure on their body. And here, we don't care how much you can lift. We care about the way you move with the weight that you're lifting. So it's a big difference, big difference. I always tell people, look, unless you tell me that you're gonna go ahead and compete for $1 million by putting 300 pounds over your head, then yeah, let's go
Yeah.
ahead and train that way, because there's an incentive behind it. There's money involved, there's a price involved. And yeah, I'm not discrediting anyone who does that for a living. The problem is that everyday people like you and I want to train like super athletes, and the reality is we're not. So don't train like a super athlete when you're not. What are we trying to do here, Rodrigo? All we're trying to do is elevate the quality of our life. And we're not going to be able to do that if we keep injuring ourselves during the workouts.
no, yeah, and elevating the quality of your life, and that goes a long way. And speaking of elevating, what's some of the stories that probably you could share, as far as some people that you've brought in and they've elevated their lives, right? They're like very
Okay,
like,
I have a very interesting story. I was working with this one guy, heavy set guy, 500 pounds.
oh, okay,
And I knew this one guy for a long time, and I never pushed him into working out. We kept a very cool relationship. And then when he was ready, he reached out to me, and he's like, okay, I'm ready. We worked together for a year and a half, and we were able to bring him down to 408 pounds. So in essence, he lost a total of 92 pounds,
Yeah.
right? And one day he's talking to me and he tells me, hey man, I don't know if this is big on your book, but I want to share something with you. He's a very religious man, and he was telling me that every day, once he dropped off his kids at school, he took 10-15 minutes to go to church and do his little prayer.
yeah,
Thank God, and whatever he did. But he was telling me that for a number of years, he was embarrassed to kneel down because he was afraid that he was going to get stuck there, because he was he had gained a lot of weight throughout the years. And then he said, look, I don't know if this is big in your book, but I went to church and I kneeled down and I prayed to
Yeah.
God, and I thank God that I was, being able to do that.
yeah,
And it's all thanks to you.
yeah,
Okay, that to me is huge.
Oh,
That to
yeah.
me is big. I mean, I have had people coming in here telling me, hey, I can run a mile in 5 minutes,
Yeah.
but I need to bring it down to 4.5. And I'm like, dude, just keep going. Whatever you're working
Yeah.
on, it's working. Just keep pushing through.
Yeah,
And I
wish I
have
could do
had
that.
people here like, hey man, like I want to bench press 300 pounds. I'm like, just keep working at it. And those are great stories to have.
Yeah.
But when we do what we do and people's lives are being affected that way, where someone who is very religious finds so much peace and knowing that, hey man, I am 100 pounds lighter, so now I can kneel down and pray to God.
Yeah.
That to me is big, dude.
Yeah,
That to me is
it's
huge.
things that maybe you and I maybe take for granted. We
Exactly.
don't even think about, second guess it, right?
Right,
But,
exactly. Look, I've never been a big dude.
Yeah.
I've never been overweight. I've never been super heavy. So I don't know what it feels to walk in someone's shoes like that, right? But when they're coming up to me and they're telling me, hey, thank you for helping me do this.
Yeah.
Dude, look, here's the deal. I charge a fee for my services because I have to pay the bills.
Yeah.
But I promise you, if I didn't have any financial obligations, I'd be doing this for free. Because I like those stories behind what we do here. There was this older lady who, same scenario. She's a heavy set lady. We had been working with her for about a year now. She's lost a ton of weight. And she comes up to me and she's like, okay, let me show you something. And she goes down and she's tying her own shoelaces, right? And again, like you said, those little things we take for granted. And I'm questioning, like, what is she really showing me?
Yeah.
And I asked her, like, what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Because all I see you is going down to tying your shoelaces. And she says, it's been years since I was able to go down that low to tie my own shoelaces.
Yeah,
and I'm like, it's very impactful. It's very impactful because it may be little things, but it makes a big difference in people's lives.
No, well, yeah, it's things that, like, when you hear those stories, you're like, whoa, there's actually people out there that are having these problems.
Right.
And what else that we don't even know about. That's
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
that they're hiding it or whatnot. But stuff like that, stories like that are like, I mean, you can't, it's priceless, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's priceless.
Exactly. And that's what we're trying to do here. Now, some people may have a weight problem. Some people may have a speed problem. Some people may have a mechanical problem. Some people may have a mobility problem. Our job is to find out exactly how we can improve each one of our members' lives. And I'm telling you, it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
Because some people understand it. Some people are a little bit more difficult to work with. And sometimes we get frustrated as human beings. We get frustrated, but not because of the client in front of us, but sometimes we get frustrated because of our own inability to find the way to communicate with the proper words with every single one of our clients.
No, yeah, and transitioning to nutrition, what's like? Do you implement a nutrition plan for some, or how's that work with you?
Okay, look.
Because that's another big thing, right?
Well,
like it's one thing.
It's the main thing.
Yeah.
It's the main thing. And I don't care how good my program is.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's the best system in the world. I don't care if you're working out 3 times a day here with me.
Yeah.
If you're not eating correctly, whatever we do here is going to benefit you very little or maybe none at all. Okay, you have to eat accordingly to your activity level. If you're putting in the work, if you're putting in the effort in here physically, you have to eat accordingly. One analogy that I always like to use on these examples is a cow. A cow, it eats nothing but grass, right? Yeah. So in essence, it's eating nothing but salads. But the cow, you leave a cow here and you come back in 4 hours, it's still gonna be in the same spot because it's not exercising, it's not moving, it's not mobile, right? It's not creating motion. And they go to sleep when the sun goes down, right? Yeah. So there's no mobility, there's no exercise, there's no fitness routine, right? And a cow is super big, it's fat, right? On the other hand, a cheetah eats nothing but meat.
I was just thinking about a cheetah.
A cheetah eats nothing but meat, but the cheetah is constantly on the move.
Yeah.
So, and the cheetah is eating day and night. Yeah. And it's eating meat.
And you can see that it's like Absolutely. The legs and then all that.
You can see the muscle definition, but you can see also the activity level behind the cheetah as well. Yeah. It's always running. It's always on the move. It's always exercising. It's always staying fit, right? So my question to people here is, do you want to eat nothing but salads and be a cow? Or do you want to eat whatever you want but be consistent with your workouts?
Yeah. It's a balance, right? But
exactly. It's a balance. I always tell people, look, eat accordingly to your activity level. Eat accordingly to what you're trying to achieve here. If you want to have a junk food body, then continue eating junk food. But if you want to have a healthy body, it becomes a matter of choice. You always have a choice. When you're hungry, there's a choice. When you're not prepared, there's always the McDonald's, the Taco Bells. But there's also healthier choices out there, like
Yeah.
maybe Subway, maybe Pollo Loco. I always tell people, look, treat yourself as you would a brand new baby. Brand new baby, you have a diaper bag with you. You have preparations
Yeah.
for that specific baby. When that baby gets hungry, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
The problem is that we grow up and we don't have a diaper bag for ourselves. So when we are not prepared for whenever we get hungry, we end up making bad choices.
No, yeah, and I feel, with nutrition, I feel like sometimes it feels like maybe it's a hassle for some. Like I
Well-
know sometimes, like right now, like if I gotta go to work, I gotta prep my lunch, right? Because if not,
Right.
there's a Del Taco around the corner.
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
easy,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So it's prepping, but sometimes for some it's like a hassle, right? So
Well,
we can't look at it that way.
Right. Well, we can't. We
Yeah.
can't because it's your body. And the irony behind it, Rodrigo, is there are no do-overs. You get at
Yeah.
the end of the line, you can't go back and fix what the damage is. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you an example. I was having this conversation with a client a few months back, and she couldn't understand why she was so heavy while she was only eating once a day. People don't just wake up one day and all of a sudden they have 50 pounds extra on top of them. It is
Yeah.
a process. It is neglect with your food and with your exercise that is going to lead
Right.
to one day you waking up having 50 pounds extra on top of
Yeah.
them. Okay, so she had damaged her body so much that she tried to fix it by starving her body. But at that point, the damage was too bad that even if she, starved her body, it was not going to help her in any way because she already had made this amazing damage to her body, right? And so I was telling her that one of the very first things that we needed to change in her routine is the way she ate. So she needed to go from eating once a day to maybe eating 4 times a day with 3 snacks in between. And her reaction was, "You want me to eat 7 times a day?" And I'm like, look, I'm not insulting you. All I'm saying is go home and eat.
Yeah.
That is a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to donate a liver here. Go home and eat.
Yeah.
And you're correct. You're right when you say, sometimes people think it's a hassle because they don't have the time to spend, doing those things. But again, we go back to the baby talk, right?
Yeah.
You made time for that baby because you knew it was essential to their survival.
Yeah.
You wanted that baby to grow up strong. You wanted that baby to grow up healthy. And the same rule applies right now.
Yeah.
You still want to grow up strong and healthy with your body. So you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah, you said the word care,
Right.
So it's all about self-care.
Absolutely.
At that point, right? Is
Yeah.
how much do you really care about yourself? So that's kind of like that's the question that you have to ask yourself. At the end of the day, right?
Right.
So and it's funny how you're saying that as far as eating 7 times a day, because especially now since I started training back again since February. I'm always hungry.
You're always hungry.
I'm always hungry. I'm trying
Yeah.
looking for a snack.
Right.
And I'm trying to eat peanuts that way I don't go towards the chips.
Right.
Because they're healthy fats, and I feel like they fill me up more.
Well, the funny thing is, you will consume what you buy.
Yeah.
If you're buying chips and they're accessible, you're gonna end up eating them.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to learn how to shop smarter. If you buy it, you will consume it.
Yeah, that's true. Like, we had we celebrated my son's first communion, and we had some birria, we had cake, cupcakes, and those are in the fridge. And you open it, they're there, they're tempting.
See, but look, congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
But
And it's okay also to actually once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Look,
we're not saying
those are events in life.
Yeah.
They are going to happen, and you should be happy and you should celebrate them. Okay. And if there are cupcakes, I'm not the type of trainer that is going to give you a do's and don'ts when it comes to your eating lifestyle, right? If there's a cupcake in there and you want to enjoy that cupcake, go for it, man. Do it. But balance it out.
Yeah.
Don't eat freaking 20 cupcakes when you know it's going to affect you in a negative way. You have to think about it this way. Everything that enters our body is going to have an effect, good and bad. But sometimes you're going to have those life events where you find yourself in front of a feast. Enjoy yourself. That is okay. That's fine. It's okay to go there. It's not okay to stay there.
Yeah, it's okay to enjoy and celebrate those wins because if you
Absolutely.
don't, you're gonna go crazy.
Exactly. It's
So,
part of
man.
life. It's part of life. Have some fun out there.
No, yeah.
Balance it out.
No,
Balance
yeah,
it out.
no, yeah. And as we wrap up here, George, we do gotta talk about a little bit probably on the next one, but we do gotta talk about a little bit about the book,
About the book.
and how I still want to make it into a feature, but we still gotta work out the kinks.
There's a few kinks in there
Yeah.
that we have to fix before we have that conversation. So
But you guys should go check it out. And what was the name of the book again?
Jorge Ancheytta, you guys can find it on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles under Justicia Divina.
Okay, perfect. And NRG.
Energy. We are here 6 days a week. Now we're opening Sundays, for private sessions. We love what we do, and we happen to be really good at it. So if anyone out there is looking for a new way to train, a different way to train, hit us up. We are on Instagram. We're on social media. We're available here. We are looking for people who want to get help. Come in with an open mind. Come in wanting to be better, wanting to do something different. We are not conventional by any means. We really do go outside the box with our training. So if you have an open mind and if you're looking for a new challenge out there, hit us up.
There you have it, guys. So we only have one question for you. Are you in?
Are you in?
All right. Thanks, George, for coming by.
And don't forget to subscribe and check out the latest episodes on the website. Follow us on social media at Hardwood Rod. And don't forget, every Tuesday we got the latest and greatest. So stay locked in. Would you like to be on the podcast? Got something to talk about? Make sure to head over to the website at hardwoodrod.com. Leave your name and the topic you'd like to discuss, and I'll add you to the calendar.